Hey everyone, this is Kurt, also known as the 1upkid, and just as the title states, yes, Dragon Ball Kai is continuing with the Majin Buu saga. And this information is actually kind of old. I actually knew about this a week ago. This actually came out last Monday. I'm a little late about talking about it, or I knew about it, but I just kind of wanted to talk about it a week later. Just didn't really have the chance to do it beforehand. I was busy. But how we found out about this is that on the Anime News Network, we pretty much had the announcement there, and how they found out was that they were able to get it from a blog, which belongs to excuse me for my really bad butcher pronunciation, Meizumi Tanaka, who is the voice actor who is the voice actor of both Krillin and Monkey D. Luffy in Japan. And she actually pretty much spilled the beans, saying that she was recording more episodes of Dragon Ball Z Kai with the Dragon Ball cast, and she pretty much stated though that it won't air on TV in Japan, but it's going to be airing overseas, which is one big reason why the show is being made. You can say that the show is actually being made for the international market. But that doesn't mean Japan won't get it. They'll get the Blu-ray and DVD release, but they won't get it on TV. As of right now, they won't. So what makes this really cool, and what confirms it to be them doing the Buu saga, of course, is not just because she just said we're continuing it, but she already stated that they already recorded up to the episode where Goten and Trunks sneak into the tournament by standing on each other's shoulders. And I have to say, even though I'm quite calm now, when I found out this information after I voted, I was extremely happy. I was like I could not believe it. I was so sad when back in 2011, no, 2010, around winter time, as they were still doing the Frieza saga here in America. I was still sad when Toei announced they were ending Kai just as a Cell saga, because I always wanted the overall package, and I always felt that while the Buu saga not be my most favorite saga of all of them, because I love the Cell saga a lot more. Cell and Frieza saga to me are tied; they're like the best sagas. Even though I may not like the Buu saga as much, it's still part of the story, and it really has its high moments in it, like Vegeta's sacrifice. I don't care what anyone says. Even if you don't like the Buu saga, I don't see how anyone could not find that not a fantastic moment in the franchise. So I'm extremely happy that it's finally coming back, because the Buu saga and Dragon Ball Z suffered from massive filler. Now, you could say, well, didn't the whole series suffer from filler, which is why they did the Kai? It did, but I think it was worse with the Buu saga, because the Buu saga was not only the longest saga, but I felt that the filler there was a little harder for them to do. And what I mean by that is the saga was so long that they couldn't deviate from what was happening. So instead of just making up some random shit, they would have to essentially elongate episodes, elongate situations. And you can't skip over them because they're technically still a story, but they're being dragged out, and that sucks. But thankfully, since they're not doing the Kai saga, since Kai is not doing the Buu saga, this will be rectified. And man, this makes me really happy. I mean, everyone's very happy about the Dragon Ball Z movie, and I'm excited about it too. But I think this I'm more happy about, because not only will Kai be complete, but actually I think that really is it. Kai will be complete. We'll have a much better package, and it means a lot, especially if you love like the dub version, because the Kai dubbing is so much better than the Dragon Ball Z dubbing. It's far more professional. When you look at the Dragon Ball Z dubbing, it's really dated. It's Funimation's first, and it's just not acceptable. It's just really bad in comparison. And you really see all the really bad inaccuracies, the really bad lines that they had in Dragon Ball Z. But when Kai came around, they're fixing all that. I mean, that was one of the great things about watching Kai, especially as a dub person, is that all the lines would be accurate. And you would have no stupid lines, and you would get all the great performances from the returning actors, and they would also replace a lot of the actors with with much better actors. Seriously, Colleen as Gohan is fucking fantastic. She's like one of my favorites. It's actually Chris Aries as Cell. I mean, not Cell. Whoops. Chris Aries as Frieza. I mean, not enough can be said about his performance as Frieza. So I'm extremely excited for this. Now, I do hope for two things in particular, and I'll just get the one that I think is. I'll go from what I'm thinking of right now. That's least important to probably the more important. So right now, I'll just talk about the English voice I cast. That's the least, because right now, even the one that I want to talk about more, I'm not going to talk about it in no great length, but the one that I think is more important, I'm not really thinking about right now. I'm still very happy that this is just happening in general. But for the English voice cast, they actually, the one thing I hope they do is, I kind of hope that Kiera Edwards, the voice actor of Goten and Videl, I kind of hope that she just retains one role. And what I mean by that is, instead of her playing both roles, she only chooses one, and someone replaces her other role. Because one of the good things about Kai as a whole, not one, so many. One of the amazing things about Kai is how they were able to, Chris Sabat, who is the English director, was able to get rid of some of his extra roles, because back then they had to double up, and it sucked. I mean, now they don't have that's not an issue anymore. So I'm hoping Akira Edwards will at least get rid of one of her roles, because I don't know. I don't care which one she chooses, but I don't think she should do both. I mean, both. I don't hate either one, not at all. I mean, I don't dislike either or. But I don't know if it. But I don't. I don't know. So sometimes her voice bleeds into each other, and I know that's very common when you're doubling up on voice acting. But for her, at least, to me, it's very noticeable. I don't know. I wouldn't mind if she gave Videl to someone else. I mean, she can stay as Goten. Her Goten's a little raspy, but I mean, all the returning voice actors do a much better job, and they have much better voice direction, so she can fix this issue. It's not like it'll be a problem forever. Majin Buu is a big one. I'm hearing people talking about. People want to know if they'll replace Fat Buu or any of the Boos, and as of right now, I don't really have an issue with any of the Boos. Like someone has. I've heard people say maybe they could replace Fat Buu with the voice actor who does Gluttony in the English versions and Gluttony from Fullmetal Alchemist and Brotherhood. And if you don't know who that sounds like, just look it up on YouTube, Gluttony from Fullmetal Alchemist or Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, and just listen to him, and you'll notice that could work for Boo, but at the same time, I think it's a little too. I don't know. Like in Japanese, his voice is very deep, but I don't know if that voice would work for Boo. But I don't really have an issue with the current Boo, just as long as they ease up on him being too, annoying. I mean, you can blame that on the old dub, but now that won't be an issue because everyone's much better. They have much better direction. They're more I mean, they're experienced. They all know what they're doing now. Back in the day, they didn't. So I don't really have an issue with that. I'm not sure the other Boos, like Super Boo and Kid Boo. Kid Boo can say the same. He has no lines. He's meant to be all crazy, and the voice actor, who's the same voice actor as Fat Boo, succeeds at doing that. So that's not an issue. Super Boo or Strong Boo, the middle Boo, whatever Boo. He's voiced by the same person who did Raditz, I think, and he's also a producer of Kai. Like Chris Abbott's the director, but he's the producer. Not that that's relevant. Not sure, to be honest. I mean, I don't have an issue with it, but in Japanese version, it's actually a little more crazy. Which is funny because Funimation always had that issue of making the bad guy theme too extreme when Japanese are more tame, but when they got to the Buu saga, they flip-flopped that. I don't know. I mean, I don't have an issue with his voice, but I wouldn't mind a replacement only because he's already played a role. I mean, he's already Raditz. But at the same time, I mean, Chris Sabat is Piccolo and Vegeta, and that works. So you know, his Raditz and his Majin Buu don't sound similar, so that could work. A role that has to be replaced is is Teenage Dende. His voice just does not work. They need to get rid of. It's the same voice actor as Raditz, which is also just doubling up. Just get someone else. He needs to sound younger. He sounds way too old for what he's supposed to be. He's not really a teenager, but whatever. And the only other one which might cause a little controversy, is Kyle Hobart as Gohan. Now, I'm not going to deny this at all. Kyle Hobart is a great voice actor. He really is. Like, he has one hell of a resume if you really look at all the work he's done. He knows what he's doing, and but the problem I always had with him is that he always made Gohan sound way too old. I actually had arguments with my friends asking why can't Gohan do anything while he's in college. And I said to him, college? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, guys, he's in high school. And they're like, no, he's not. I'm like, yes, he is. He has to be at least 16 or so. I'm sure. And my friends are like, no, he sounds way too old for that. And they're not wrong. Gohan sounds way too old for his age. He doesn't sound like a teenager. And that is his fault. Kyle Hobart may be the actor, but I don't think he can do that kid voice that's required for the role. It's actually always been the problem I've had with his voice, but in all fairness, all the voice actors who have returned always do an important, like, they've always improved the role. And hopefully Chris Sabat will, because Chris Sabat has pretty much stated before that Gohan's one of his favorite characters, so I guarantee he'll keep that in mind and have a lot of care into it, because that is Chris Sabat's job. He's the one who has to tell Kyle Hobart to tone down his voice. That's the only thing I'm hoping. I mean, the only thing I was thinking of, which was highly doubtful, is that they'd replace him with someone else. It's a bit of a gamble. I mean, I wouldn't mind it, but it won't happen because Kyle Hobart pretty much confirmed that if Kai, back in the day, before the Buu saga was even considered cancelled or even announced cancelled, he said that he was going to return for Gohan. So I don't think he would not return for it, because he loves the role of Gohan, and we shouldn't take it away from him. So I really hope he gets better, and I guarantee he will. Finally, the only thing I do want to talk about, which I think is a little more important, is the music. Now, after the announcement of Kai ending with just the end of the Cell saga in March, in the last 3 episodes, the music was completely replaced, because the original composer, which is Kenji Matsumoto, I cannot say Japanese names very well, I am so sorry, he was fired for plagiarism. He's actually had a long list of plagiarized songs, and it finally caught up to him. Now, for a lot of people who don't know, not only did Kenji Matsumoto compose Kai, but he also composed all the Budokai games. So he's been around with the series for a long time. He also helped with Dragon Ball Z, believe it or not, with the music. But when Kai was coming to an end, Toei threw up an announcement on their website, and people translated it right away, stating that Dragon Ball Kai will be having a music replacement due to some songs having some questionable. I think they said something along the lines they don't want to risk it. So I think they said something along the lines of the songs could be plagiarized. They didn't say it exactly like that, but they pretty much did. So all the music was replaced by the original Dragon Ball Z score done by Shu. I can't say his name. It's Shugo Kanuchi or something like that. I am so sorry. Which is the Dragon Ball Z score, and I love the Dragon Ball Z score, but it just does not work with Kai. The placement was poorly done, and that's more the fault of Toei as a whole, because they fired the old composer and kind of had to just sort of rush in and replace the score as soon as possible. It was a really half-assed stunt. And the music that was replaced, Kenji's music, it was very good, but if you plagiarize, you gotta get rid of it. Nothing you can do about it. And so his music was replaced, and the music that they have it with is not good. A lot of scenes, especially during the because from parts 5 and up for us Americans and pretty much everywhere else, we never actually heard the original music before it got replaced, and what we got was there's a big problem with it. It's that he has beautiful music, but they only use like 3 or 4 tracks over and over and over. And what's even more of an issue is that the music itself is recorded with like what 80s technology, and it really shows because it just sounds muffled. It does not sound good. Technically, if they went in and redid all these songs with like new recording equipment, they would sound a lot better, but that won't happen unless they decide to remake it, like remix the music, but I really doubt it. And it also really underappreciated a lot of scenes. Like there's a lot of scenes, I'm not gonna name them all, but a lot of key moments in the series, especially near the end, was completely underwhelmed with it made the scene extremely underwhelming because of the music. You had this great voice acting, and then you had the music that just did not complement it, and it sucked. However, I will say though, the last 3 episodes of Kai were much better because they actually knew beforehand, so they were able to take a little more time with it, but that doesn't matter. My point here is that with Kai continuing with the Buu saga, this does give him an opportunity to have a new score added. The question here is, will they do it? And that's a good question. Will they add a new score, or will they just keep the same music that they already have Kai replaced with now, and just put in the Buu saga and just call it a day? They could do that because it would make everything very consistent. But I personally hope they have a new score. I really hope they have a new opening, closing, which I guarantee you they will. Like, even though people are worried that they might be a little cheap with it because it's being overseas, they're not that cheap. They'll look at it and say, if people see this opening, it won't make sense to them. They're gonna make a new one. Trust me on that one. They better. But the actual music that plays during the show, I really want a new score. Hell, my hope is that maybe they'll hire the guy who's done the music for for like the Plan to Eradicate the Super Saiyans and the Ultimate Tenkaichi cutscenes, which are all on YouTube, which is how I saw them. Because he really does good music, so if they got him to do it, I mean, why the hell not? It's better than nothing. My biggest hope is, what if they got a new composer and Toei themselves decided to go in and go through episodes 1 through 98 and fix the soundtrack with the new music. That's a bit of a stretch because that's a lot of episodes, that's a lot of going back, but hey, I can dream. So yes, Kai is returning. I am extremely happy, and that is all. So 2013 is going to be awesome. So we got Kai and a new movie, which I'm hoping will be good. So yes, I'll catch you all later. I hope you all are also excited for it. So have a good day.